I get a lot of emails from people about Konad stamping because I'm a huge fan and I have posted some looks before. People ask me how it works, if it's easy, if it's fast, and I also get a lot of emails from people saying that they have trouble picking up their images or just using the Konad. I'm going to show you how to do Konad. I'm going to give you all my tips and tricks, and I hope that it helps if you're having trouble or if you, don't know what Konad is and you want to see how it works. I just wanted to talk a little bit about what you can and cannot stamp with when it comes to Konad stamping. The commercials for Konad will tell you that you should use Konad stamping polishes and that you can't use other polishes to stamp with, but that's not true. I have these just because I bought a big kit and it came with these. And while they all do show up really opaque and they're nice and thick so they show up on any background color, they're actually not necessary. You can use regular nail polishes for stamping. So that's what I'm going to talk about. Some people might say that certain brands don't work for stamping or a certain brand works for stamping all the time, but that's not true. It actually depends on the polish, the individual polish, not the brand overall. And the way to tell if you can stamp with it is just do a one coat test. This is one coat of Zoya Ibiza, and as you can see, it's really opaque, and I can't see the tip of my nail through this color. So I know that this is going to stamp really well and that this is going to show up well. On the other hand, from the same brand, this is Zoya Katori, and it's incredibly sheer, so I know that this is not going to stamp whatsoever. It probably isn't even going to show up. So just do a one coat test. If your nail polish is opaque, then you're good to go. If it's not, then pick something else. In terms of silver and gold, what you don't want to get are the Konad stamping polishes in silver and gold. Their creams are wonderfully opaque and they show up really well, but for some reason these two just absolutely suck. As you can see on this hand, this is the Konad stamping in gold, and my middle finger is the Konad stamping in silver. And when they're next to these two, you can really see that they are not true metallics. They aren't really showing up very well. So your better option is actually anything from the China Glaze Chrome collection. This is 2030 and this is Millennium, and these two are my favorite stamping polishes to use because they show up very, very metallic and they transfer really well. The two Konad stamping polishes that I do actually think everybody should own is a white and a black, and that's just because I've tried stamping with other companies, white and black, and they don't show up as well. And these two colors are going to go with whatever background color you use. These are always going to be very useful. I don't think you need to buy any of the other colors, but white and black I do recommend because these are very easy to work with, and this is how well they show up. This is the white and the black over the same base color. So I hope that helps if you were confused about what you can and cannot stamp with. You probably already have a lot of stuff that will work, so have fun. When you're ready to start, these are the supplies that you're going to need. You're going to need your Konad stamping plate, of course. This is plate M78, that's what I'll be using. You're going to need a piece of paper towel to hold it in place, and this is just so when we scrape off the excess polish, we don't end up with polish on our table. Konad sells a image plate holder that just keeps it in place, but you really don't need to buy one of those because a paper towel does the same thing and you can just throw it away when you're done. You need cotton swabs. Some people use cotton balls, but if you hold a like acetone soaked cotton ball, you might get some on your nails just after you've finished doing them, so I really don't recommend that. These are easier to use because you're holding the middle part, so you're safe from getting any nail polish remover on your fingers. You also need your stamper. You need your stamping polish, and this is Sci-Fi from China Glaze. It's the purplish silver from the Chrome collection. You also need some nail polish remover to clean up our plate in between uses, and also to clean up around our nails. And I really don't recommend using a really great nail polish remover, like if you buy Zoya Remove Plus or Sephora by Opie, anything really good like that, just because we're going to be using it to clean up our plate and clean up our stamper, and you don't want to waste a really expensive nail polish remover just for cleanup. So go ahead and use something cheap. And last but not least, you need your scraper. And Konad makes two different kinds of scrapers. One has this metal edge and one is plastic. And if you have the choice, I recommend this one because the metal one actually leaves scratches in your plate, so I don't use this one. My kit actually came with both. But if this one is all you have and you don't want to scratch up your plate, you can actually use a credit card, an old credit card, old library card instead, and it'll work just as well. When you're ready to start, just take your stamping polish and apply it over the image that you want to use. Then take your scraper, and we're just going to scrape off that polish, leaving it just in the imprint of our design. And then go ahead and punch the stamper down and see how it picks up that whole image. And then you can just roll this onto your nail. Then just take a little cotton swab and dipped in a little bit of nail polish remover and clean off anything that's left over. So we're ready for the next one. As you can see, it picks out pretty much all the polish. Sometimes you might have some left over on the side, but then you can just go like that to clean it up before your next one. And I like to punch it down pretty hard, just like that. Just like you're stamping an envelope or anything like that, and it'll pick it up pretty well. You definitely don't want to wiggle this like that, because that's just going to smear it, and you're going to have a smeared design. And you don't want to be really weak about it, because it won't pick up anything. If you just punch it down like that, you're going to get the whole image, and it's going to work best. And do not start stamping until you are absolutely sure that your base color is completely dry, because you are rolling this onto your nail. So if your polish isn't dry, then you're definitely going to dent it. And this, just pushing it down, doesn't tend to work very well because the nail is rounded and you want to cover your whole nail. So you want to do like a rolling motion. Just roll it over so that your whole nail gets covered. You don't have to clean the plate every single time, but I do like to just swipe this in between every nail. And as you can see, this is going to get a lot of polish on it, but that's okay. I just clean it up once when I'm all done. So I'm going to do the next one now. We're going to scrape, punch that down, and just roll this over our nail. And, sorry, there's a molder hair on my finger. As you can see, like, you might have some left on the side, and that's what these are for. I just clean that up when I'm done. Just like this. Clean up your edge. Alright. Scrape that, punch it down, and roll it. Well, I do love hand painting nail art. Sometimes I just prefer Konad because it's so much faster. Obviously, hand painting this design on every finger would have taken us much longer. Now I'm going to do my thumb, and my thumb, I really wish that the full images on some of these Konad plates would be bigger because they're always about this size, and it never covers my whole thumb, which I will show you. So I just start on one end, and as you can see, I have that big gap on the side. So what I do is I just do another stripe, maybe like halfway, scrape it, and I just try and meet that gap. It's not going to match up perfectly, but as long as I don't have like a big black gap on the side, then it's not like anybody's going to notice. So that's how I take care of that problem. If Konad ever came out with bigger images, I would buy all of the plates, absolutely. I don't know if I'm the only one who has that problem, but my thumb is definitely not covered by most of the images. Okay, so now that we're done, I'm just going to clean this one up for the last time and just dry it off. And I'm also going to clean up this. And this is why I recommend cotton swabs, because if I was holding a cotton ball dipped in nail polish remover, I would probably ruin my nails that I just did. But, holding the center is much easier, and my fingers are safe from the remover, so. Just clean it off so it doesn't harden and then get stuck on there. And I'm actually still using the same cotton swab that I did for cleaning up all my nails, for cleaning this in between. I haven't used another one yet, so you don't have to, go through tons of supplies. I'm just swiping off the plate to make sure there's no leftover polish that's going to get stuck in the corners of the image. And then I just like to clean off that leftover remover so it doesn't leave a mark. And then I put that away. While you're stamping, you do have to be pretty fast about it, as you saw. If you wait too long and dawdle, then it's probably going to dry on here before you have a chance to stamp it. Or if you wait too long before picking it up, it might dry on the plate before you get to pick it up. So if you're having trouble with it not picking up, it could be because you're either not pushing down hard enough, or you're not just pushing it down straight, you're like wiggling it or something, or maybe you are waiting too long and your polish is drying on the plate. I have heard some people recommend to rough up this stamper surface with a nail file or something. I'm not exactly sure why. I've heard that it helps you pick up the image, but I haven't done that to mine just because I don't have any trouble picking up the image, and I don't think it's necessary to do so, but if you are having trouble, you might want to look into that, or ask somebody who's done it to see if that will help you. So now that we're done stamping and everything's cleaned up, I'm just going to clean up the sides of my nails as well, where a little bit of stamp leaked over and was stamped onto my skin. I don't care about that when it happens. I'm just worrying about getting the image on my nail because I know it's easy to clean up after. Now, you may want to put your top coat on right away, but don't. I want you to wait, because some people will put their top coat on right away and then they'll wonder why their stamp's smeared. It's because you aren't giving this a chance to really completely dry, because top coat's going to kind of re-wet this and activate it again, so it might smear if you do it too soon. So just give it a few minutes, you know, do something else. It's going to look like it's dry, it's going to feel like it's dry, but just make sure you give it enough time to completely dry. When you're ready to apply your top coat, you want to make sure there's enough on the brush. You don't want to rub against your stamp with a dry brush, because it's probably going to smear your image just from the friction of the bristles against your stamp. So make sure you have enough polish on there. And then just try not to go over your image in the same area over and over and over again, because the clear top coat kind of like re-wets it and reactivates it, so if you go over the same area over and over again, it's probably going to smear. So just try to, you know, apply your top coat in like 4 strokes. Make sure there's enough on your brush, and then you won't have a problem with smearing. And here is our finished look. It's very fast, it's very easy to do, and if you have trouble with hand painting nail art, or you don't like nail stickers or anything like that, then I think you definitely like Konad. I'm a huge fan, and I own probably too many plates for my own good, but it's really fun, and probably doesn't take more than 10-15 minutes to apply. I'm going to show you guys 2 handy little tricks that I've picked up, and the first is 2-color stamping. To do 2-color stamping, just lay down your first color, and then, just like it implies, lay down your second color right next to it. Or if you have like a flower, you could do the petals in a different color than the stem. Then go ahead and think about which way you're going to scrape this, okay? If I scraped it this way, the purple would bleed all over the gold, right? So we actually want to scrape it this way so that the colors don't mix. So as you can see, we got a cool pattern that's more than one color. So that looks pretty cool. It takes a little bit more time, but it's pretty neat. The second trick is selective stamping. So let's say, for instance, you like these little hearts, but you didn't like the polka dot part. Just go ahead and cover the whole image like normal. Scrape off like normal. Pick it up. And then right away you're just going to take a little bit of nail polish remover and just erase that part, and then go ahead and stamp that on your nail. You have to be quick with this because it's going to dry, but as long as you have your supplies all out and ready, then it's definitely something you can do. And this is